This bulletin is coming to you live from Joy 99.7 FM in Accra at digital address GA0993341. It's also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. Affiliates across the country including ATL FM Cape Coast, Radio Max, Takrady, Jubilee FM in Keta, and Kekeli Radio Ho. It's on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, DigiBank, Let's Go, and Telesol 4G, Just a Touch. And coming up, government publishes data backing claims that COVID-19 cases have peaked and on a decline following skepticism by scientists.
Since the peaking on the 27th of April, we have consistently recorded a decline until today.
We have details of that analysis, including Ghana's position on herbal drugs allegedly being used to cure people with the virus in Madagascar. Daughter of a recovered COVID-19 patient pelted with stones as stigmatization of patients and their family members increased.
They stoned my daughter, and even mothers were sitting under their trees watching children to stone their fellow colleague that she's suffering from COVID-19.
As the world battles the coronavirus amid false information, Joy News begins a series of fact-check stories to bust the myths. In the first edition, we take you to some ghettos in the Accra suburb of Choko, where young people believe smoking marijuana protects them against the virus.
We heard that they say when you smoke the weed, you are not going to get infected. So right now, we the smokers, we are smoking it times 20.
Also in this bulletin, former Super Morning Show producer Stan Dogbe shares his memories with former host Komla Dumo as the station celebrates 25 years in business, but he's also denying destroying the GBC journalist recorder in a fit of rage in 2015. In sports,
former Black Stars coach Wesia Pia resort to FIFA and not the law court should the Ghana Football Association fail to pay his outstanding salaries.
And later in the bulletin,
who would drop this song, then go live, go cry, emotional singers.
So what's in a beef? We'll tell you about the lyrical feud between three female Ghanaian musicians that has got social media talking. I'm Araba Koomson. Thanks for staying with us. The Ghana Health Service has for the first time published data backing claims that COVID-19 cases in the country have peaked and have been on a decline. Some public health experts have in the last 2 days challenged government's position that the country has reached its peak. The country's case count jumped by nearly 400 in the latest reporting, one of the highest since the outbreak in Ghana. But at its briefing today, government mounted a spirited defense of its handling of the crisis. Here's Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kuma Abuaje.
We peaked around the 27th of April this year. And since then, the numbers have continued to come down till the last presented as yesterday. So that's showing that of the positivity, since the peaking on the 27th of April, we have consistently recorded a decline until today. And we hope that will continue to be the case so that we'll be able to name it, these cases, bring it under control, not actually control it. As I raised in my last press briefing, COVID is still not equivalent to death as people have perceived it. We want to encourage everybody to continue applying the protocols that we have done. We are also coming up with protocols that will guide people as to if you are a hairdresser, if you are a barber, what exactly should you do to protect yourself. We know that it's not as simple, so we have protocols which will be out as we mentioned last time and share with the various groups. We have already started engaging them to share with them. So thank you very much.
Well, Director General of the Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Bedu Sarkodie, has also been defending Ghana's handling of the crisis.
On the 10th of March, the results came on the 12th. That's not shown here because you're not showing when you had the results. You are showing the first two cases sample taken 10th of March, and they became positive. There was a build-up till getting to the end of April, and then we have been coming down gradually. That is what we meant. This is not saying that Ghana is off the hook yet. The off are not over. The woes are not off. To sustain this and further come down, we need to adhere to all the various preventive etiquettes that have been spelled out quite a number of times here. So, the Honorable Minister, this is the situation that we have for a number of case bills with respect to the confirmed cases that we have in Ghana.
So that's Dr. Bedu Sarkodie. He's Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service. Joy News' Joseph Akablay sat through that media briefing. He joins us on the line with more. Joseph, first, let's take a look at the justification given based on the new data released by the Ghana Health Service. What more have they been saying?
And so, Araba, there are actually two photographs that they put out. One is a graph and the other shows a chart. And for the two images, in terms of the graph, you actually see that it's moving steadily from the 10th of March to 20th of March. Then sometime around 25th of March, it peaks very high, recording almost 300 cases. Then between 25th of April all the way to May 9, you see the graph coming down. And the Ghana Health Service says this indicates that per the data that they are using, which they emphasize relies on the date sample was taken. They make the point that other countries rely on various models, including when an individual reported to the hospital. But in terms of what we have for Ghana, is by looking at the samples and the date that the samples were taken. And so they've gone back to look at all the testing they've done from March 10, that the first samples were taken through to May 9, and they've done that analysis and concluded that it appears that it peaked on April 25 and has still been on a decline.
Let's talk about the country's recovery rate. Recoveries are now at 303. What more explanations has the Director General been giving about the recoveries?
He makes the point that the rate could have actually been more. It's actually at that particular level because of Ghana's regime that we are rolling out. And what we do is that, he says for Ghana, you need to test negative twice before you are declared as recovered. And so there are some people who have already tested negative once, that if they had been added to that, the numbers would have been higher. And so what they intend to do is to review our current regime. We can listen to him talk about that.
You have to test two negatives consecutively before we can declare you as recovered. Other countries, one negative, you are gone. And that creates some backlog, especially when we have a little challenge with our lab. We are looking at reviewing the policy, but we're taking time to look at what is the time that someone who tested negative, who tested positive at the second time. The figures are not significant, and so we may try to revise the policy so that when you test negative, we can declare you as recovered. And when you do that, you see the number significantly jump up.
Joseph, is there any plan at all by government to try out the herbal drugs allegedly being used to cure COVID-19 patients in Madagascar?
The Director General of the Ghana Health Service says, as of now, a decision has not been taken, but there has been an offer of samples that he expects to go through the process in terms of the FDA testing. We can take a listen to him on that as well.
The Madagascar one, I believe that a quantity might be made available to the country, and I'm sure in collaboration with FDA, they have to do some assessment, and then we'll take it from there. And so I will not be able to say whether to be used or not, but I think there's been an offer that we can take a look at it and so work at it.
Joseph is still on the line. Joseph, we do know that some stimulus packages were announced. What are the details?
Is the $600 million that President Akufo-Addo indicated should be made available to small and medium-scale enterprises to enable them survive during these times. The information from government is to the effect that they have, over the past week since that announcement was made, working out the modalities as to how much to make available specifically to the various entities that are struggling and what the criteria should be. And they intend to ensure that it should be transparent. And so they are creating an online platform. And in the coming days, once they complete that process, it will be made available for people to send in the applications.
Very well. Many thanks, Joseph Akablay, with those details. Let's head to Parliament now, where the minority is accusing government of giving Ghanaians false hope that the coronavirus situation in the country is under control. Minority Leader Harun Idrissa says government is engaged in a public relations administration's gimmick to create a false sense of security, which is not the reality on the ground. He alleges government is not giving COVID-19 patients proper care and in some cases giving them only vitamin C. He's been addressing a news conference a while ago.
Our simple advice as a minority to the president is that he simply should heed and respect the scientific advice of medical professionals and health professionals helping him to contain this virus. Yes, he may provide leadership at the level of being the president of the republic, but this is purely a technical, complicated, complex health issue that he should heed more to the advice of medical and health professionals. And we in the minority, we have some fundamental questions to ask. Couldn't we have locked down much more earlier as a country, knowing the threat? Couldn't we have closed our borders much more earlier? Couldn't we have started massive public education in local languages? Couldn't we have developed our own humanitarian response plan earlier as a country if the president's approach in dealing with this threat was one which was national in character and national in form in dealing with it? We should have had a comprehensive strategic plan in place earlier, a document we have requested without success, making us wonder if there was one. We lost the opportunity to do all this and many more because President Nana Addo Dankwa, in our view, did not prioritize combating this virus as his number one concern. It was at the time in Europe, if you recall, with some visits to some country, then shortly upon his return, we had two cases of the virus infection. One of them actually being with the president during his travel to Europe, if you remember that trip to Norway. As a minority, the sharp rise in the number of cases reported by authorities in the last 2 weeks is deeply worrying. And therefore, the attempt to downplay this fact is unacceptable to us in the exercise of our oversight. If you could lock down when the numbers were less than 300, and then when you have numbers up to 3,000, you certainly must be in a dilemma. And I don't admire the dilemma and quagmire of President Nana Addo Dankwa.
So that's Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu. He's also been calling for a full audit of expenditures on COVID-19, saying there's been no accountability of monies spent. My colleague Joseph Opoku-Gapo is at that press briefing. He joins us on the line with details. Joseph, the Minority Leader has also been speaking about government's decision to lift the lockdown. What is his side's position on that?
They are convinced on the minority side that the decision to lift the lockdown contributed to a large extent to the spike in the cases that have been seen over the last 3 weeks or so. And his point is the president, in deciding to lift the lockdown, did put politics above the human lives of Ghanaians, which he says is unacceptable. He's also been making an argument that the president is not using adequate data and he's not applying scientific advice in the decisions that he's taking in relation to the lockdown. And he says it's only posterity that would judge the president on those.
Many thanks. That's Joseph Opoku-Gapo with those details from the Minority Press Conference in Parliament here in Accra. Let's move to the Upper East region. And the 8-year-old daughter of Matilda Agamu, recently recovered from COVID-19 in Bolgatanga, now fears to be seen, let alone play with her friends, because of what might happen to her if she's seen outside her home. Children in the community pelted her with stones while on an errand because of her mother's condition. Her mother has also been forced to stop trading in the market because the colleagues say she's a plague in the community. Albert Sori has the rest of the story.
Matilda recounts her identity and the results of her coronavirus test somehow made it into the public domain. This was how people within and outside the community began to stigmatize Matilda and the rest of her family.
They stoned my daughter, the community. It was dry okra they asked her to buy. When she just left the house, they started stoning her, and even mothers were sitting under their trees, watching children to stone their fellow colleagues that she's suffering from COVID-19. And she has to run for her life. She wept.
When Matilda recovered from the virus and was discharged from the hospital, she was also met with stigmatization.
When they heard that I've been discharged, I sit in the market to sell. And then they called and told me that I shouldn't come and sit with them, if not that they won't get customers because of my sickness. And even when that thing happened, someone went to the market and told them that this is what I'm suffering from. So they shouldn't allow me to come and sell.
Matilda and her husband are both traders. This has resulted in some financial difficulties for Matilda's family.
So any moment from now, I will be put into bed. And I do not even prepare anything. So right now, I'm appealing to everyone to come and support me, either in finances, including whatever you have.
For Joy News, Albert Sorry, reporting from Bolgatanga.
Well, the Bolgatanga MP, Isaac Adongo, tells Joy News he will be taking the matter up.
To be honest with you, this is the first time I'm hearing this. I'm aware of the woman's condition at the time that she was diagnosed because I was constantly in touch with the Municipal Health Directorate. And it was around the time that I was giving so much support to the Municipal Health Directorate. And nevertheless, I would apprise myself with the situation and see what support I can give her, and to help educate the people to understand that when you get this disease, it's not the end.
So that's Isaac Adongo. He is Bolgatanga MP. Let's stay on this issue a while longer because scientists across the world are racing against time to find a vaccine or cure for COVID-19. But here in Ghana, some young people in some ghettos in the Accra community of Choko believe they have found an antidote to the virus. That's weed or marijuana. This is one of the many myths Joy News will highlight in our new series titled Combating Fake News Project. Joy News' Henry Kwesi-Bedu visited these ghettos and has today's episode. His report is read to you.
The waves crash against the shore here at Choko. The fishermen move up and down. Some are going out to sea while others mend their nets. Dotted along the shore are makeshift structures that people call ghettos, with marijuana sold in there. Many more people go there these days following the outbreak of COVID-19 because of this.
We heard that they say when you smoke the weed, you are not going to get infected. So right now, we the smokers, we are smoking it times 20.
That's 25-year-old Aziz, who started using marijuana some 6 years ago. He only used the herb occasionally, but things have changed now. Since Ghana recorded its first case of COVID-19 in March, he has spent most of his days at the ghetto. His reason, users of cannabis are immune to COVID-19.
Most of the guys who come here to smoke, they are new smokers. They don't smoke, but because of these rumors, people are now smoking. And I think it's good. Before the virus, early in the morning, I take 2 rows, afternoon 2 rows, evening 2 rows. But now, from morning to afternoon, I take almost about 7 rows. Evening 4 rows, making 11 rows. Yes.
We meet 45-year-old Raymond Ankuma, a resident. He tells me marijuana is now a major component of his diet, taking it thrice daily.
We, the smokers, are immune to this virus. In the morning, you can mix the substance with water in a cup and add sugar. Once you do that, you don't have to be worried about contracting the virus.
They both claim cannabis is an immune booster and are recommending it.
Since this coronavirus thing, I've never heard that it has affected any Rastaman. No.
We have been speaking to Professor Alfred Yosen of the University of Ghana's Medical School, who debunks this myth.
It has not been proven that smoking marijuana will protect you from COVID. And marijuana itself has its own effect already. And now increasing the usage and excessive use of it may have more ill effects than they would wish for.
So, the claim that weed protects you against COVID-19 is false.
And from Choko, let's head to Adabraka, where some residents say a threat by a policeman to shoot them prevented them from saving one of their colleagues who drowned in the Odo drain Wednesday evening. According to residents, the deceased, a community football coach in his early 30s, tried to escape from arrest and jumped into the drainage system but died some minutes later as he was unable to swim. The residents are asking the hierarchy of the police to help them get justice.
The policeman said he will fire if you try entering the water to rescue him. I'm not a good swimmer, but I had good swimmers who were ready to swim. They were ready.
You were also there. You wanted to rescue him?
Yeah, and the police said whoever enters the river, you will shoot at him. So we all stand there and be watching. For after some small time, about 30 or 40 minutes, we tried to jump into the river. And we saw him dead in the river. He said if you jump into the river, he will shoot you. So everybody was shocked and afraid to enter the river. You know you are all smokers, but not selling. He's not a seller. He doesn't sell anything for anybody.
Well, my colleague Maxwell Agbawa was in the area a while ago. He's been speaking to the Nima Divisional Police Commander, ACP Ibrahim Akwe, but he joins us on the line for more. Maxwell, the police is denying claims there was a threat to shoot the resident. So what explanations have they been given?
Well, the Nima Divisional Commander says the police officer in question had gone to a mechanic shop in the area. He says the suspect fled when he saw the law enforcement officer who was in uniform at the time. He says the area where the incident happened has gained notoriety for drug peddling and its usage. The commander suspects that the deceased was engaged in that act, the reason he fled after seeing the policeman, and that there was no threat to shoot any of the residents.
One of the personnel at Araba his vehicle to a fitting shop earlier on. Yes. So around that time, around 4 o'clock, he had gone there to pick his car after repair work had been done. And because he was in uniform, so this disease, on seeing the policeman in uniform, took to his heels. I think maybe he thought that the policeman was there to arrest him. So he took to his heels and then ended up diving into the Odona River. So I understand when people around saw that the guy had dived and he was just struggling, they made an attempt to retrieve him from the river. But in the process, the guy passed on. Okay. And these people who were so irate, they thought that the death of the guy was as a result of the presence of the policeman, carried the dead body, brought it to Araba police station and dumped the body on the counter and also assaulted the personnel on duty, the counter NCO, the SO, and a few others. They also ended up causing damage to the police vehicles parked. You have one of our Tundra vehicles, the saloon vehicle, and a few other vehicles, the exhibit. There were other cars belonging to people that were in connection with cases reported at the police station.
So that's ACP Ibrahim Akwe. He's the Nima Divisional Police Commander recounting events of last night. You're listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Stories gone by. Government publishes data backing claims that COVID-19 cases have peaked and are on a decline following skepticism by scientists. Also, daughter of a recovered COVID-19 patient pelted with stones as stigmatization of patients and their family members increase. After the break, former Super Morning Show producer Stan Dogwe shares his memories with former host Komla Dumo as the station celebrates 25 years in business. He's also denying destroying the GBC journalist recorder in a fit of rage in 2015.
I just took the recorder and I said, Charlie, why do you guys do this? And I just dropped the recorder on the floor. I never smashed it. I didn't touch the gentleman. I didn't hold him. I didn't even know who he was.
And later in the bulletin,
who would drop this song, then go live, go cry, emotional singers.
So what's in a beef? We'll tell you about the lyrical feud between 3 female Ghanaian musicians that has got social media talking. Details after the break.
UMB was established in 1972 as the premier bank for the corporate and private sector in Ghana. From our very beginning, as the only Ghanaian bank serving all categories of businesses, we set a standard for excellence and innovation over the past 45 years. We've built a financially healthy and strong bank, demonstrated our commitment to our customers and to growing businesses, and exhibited originality and innovation at every turn. At UMB, our focus is built around people, service, products, and technology. These are the key to our present success and our future triumphs. At UMB, we're poised to make a difference not only with our customers, but also in the banking industry. We invite you to share in our future. Our future starts now with you.
This Mother's Day, Joy Prime, Hits FM, Asampa FM, and Frighto brings you My Mother, My Hero promotion to celebrate mothers in the medical field and frontliners for their commendable role in the fight against the COVID-19 here in Ghana. To be part of this promotion, send your entry as a child, biological or otherwise, in 50 words why your mother in the frontline should be celebrated. Send it via email to promotions@myjoyonline.com or on WhatsApp 0559 732 432. Entry starts from now till Friday, 8th of May, and you stand a chance of winning a special gift package for your mom. Add full contact details of you and your mother for validation. My Mother, My Hero promotion is sponsored by Frighto. Frighto, making life memorable.
You're welcome back to the Midday News, and Hans Mensah Andor has details in sports.
A former Black Stars coach, Kwesi Appiah, will not resort to the law court as been reported, but rather head to FIFA should the Ghana Football Association fail to pay his outstanding salaries as well as winning bonuses. The FA must cough up $185,000 for Coach Appiah, who left the job last December. Here's the coach's close ally, Asante Foku.
In fact, the amount owed James Kwesi Appiah, the former Black Stars of Ghana coach, is $185,000. and not $180,000 as stated by the Ghana Football Association. Remember, in the letter written by the lawyers of James Kwesi Appiah to the FA, they stated clearly that the amount was $185,000, comprising 5 months unpaid salaries and a match-winning bonus. But Kwesi Appiah wouldn't resort to the law court as being reported by the media, but would rather head to FIFA in a worst-case scenario and also demand an interest on the said amount.
Asante Foku speaks for former Black Stars coach James Kwesi Appiah. That's your sport.
He needs his money. Thank you, Hans. Now, as we celebrate 25 years of excellence in broadcasting, former Super Morning Show producer Stan Dogbe returned to the station this morning to share his experiences during his time here. Mr. Dogbe, who produced the legendary Komla Dumo for 4 years, recounted some of the backstories in an interview with Kuji Yankson.
It was exciting. And Komla was general manager of operations, so Komla was my boss. So we used to laugh. We were in the, this used to be our office, you know, where your studio is now. Used to be our office, and so he sits here, and I sit here, and we laugh, we talk, we discuss issues, and then when we go to the studio, I'm the boss. So what I say you do is what you do, and he exemplified the producer-presenter relationship. You know, where you say that the producer is in charge. I noticed lately that not with your show, but for many other shows on radio, so the presenters think that they are the all in all. You know, is what they want to do, what they want to say. But once you're on air, you are going on and on. You don't know what others are saying, what they're doing. So the producer is the one who is following, sends, you know, message, do this, let's do that, next, whatever. And Komla knew how to go by that, and we went about it, and we have intense debates and arguments on issues.
Well, Stan Dogbe, who was accused of smashing a recorder of a journalist, a GBC journalist, took the opportunity to explain the circumstances leading to the incident.
You know, we're having some problems. Naturally, in that state, the issues are not something you just go and break the story. Where then Angola signaled me again that somebody else has come again. So I turned, and then when I looked at him, and I noticed that he was holding something that was beeping, and the red color was showing. So I turned and went to him and I said, but why are you recording? So I took the recorder and said, but that's the recorder, yeah. Then he says, oh, to be honest, I just took the recorder and I said, Charlie, why do you guys do this? We're in a serious moment. And I just dropped the recorder on the floor. I never smashed it. I didn't touch the gentleman. I didn't hold him. I didn't even know who he was. Our job is to look for information no matter what.
That's a former Super Morning Show producer and head of talks, Stan Dogbe. Now, are you ready for beef? Not beggar. Who does this job better?
It's Becky.
We are rapping.
But anyways, Araba, the last few days has seen
3 Ghanaian female musicians go at each other in a lyrical beef that's got social media talking. I present to you Eno Baroni, Sister Fia, and Frida Rhymes.
Let the games begin.
In Ghana, rap feuds between male rappers are common. For the likes of Exto in Chicago through to Strongman and Medical to Sarkodie and Asem, the men have generated controversy over whose lyrical strength is more powerful. But all that changed this week when a song by Sister Fia ignited a battle with 2 other rappers, Eno Baroni and Frida Rhymes. WMT's song was described by some fans as a jab to musician Sister Debbie, but Sister Fia denied the claims.
Every artist wants attention in this country. Even the biggest artists in Ghana, they want attention.
So, how did Eno Baroni and Frida Rhymes find themselves in this beef? Was it Sister Fia's line in the song praising herself as being a better rapper, even though she's a singer, that triggered their reactions? Frida Rhymes, winner of the 6th edition of the MTN Hitmaker reality show, released KMT in an obvious jab to Sister Fia, describing her as an emotional singer so frustrated that she had to become a rapper.
Who did drop this song, then go alive, go crying, emotional singer?
Eno Baroni entered the fray, touting herself as the rap goddess. The Toma-based rapper did not hold back as she threw lyrical punches at both Sister Fia and Frida Rhymes. Sister Fia retorted with another single, You Got Nerve, directed at her lyrical nemesis.
Punch on point, I do better chance I rap and I watch it just a beat beggar.
But one thing is certain, it has generated...
That's the ladies giving the guys a run for their money. We'll play the full report on Newsnight later today. But that's how we end the news. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. I'm Araba Koomson.